Welcome to the video. 6-7 German jet match with the 262 A2-a with Ziero in his A2-a 234B. Backstory on this, kinda slight up tier, but most of the allied team does a lot of ground pounding, so giving me a lot of opportunities, as you will see coming up. Enjoy. Right out ahead, and to my right is Ziero, and he's getting chased by this P-51, so getting him off his tail. 51, as you will see, instead of turning on to me, just dives and runs away, giving me all the altitude advantage I'd ever need. Whole big furball down at the bottom. Trying to single this Spitfire out that I'm heading towards. He's all alone. He decides to go for this 262. It's a nice counter roll, but way too slow. He's down. Watching that P-51 down there, but then I see the attacker coming in. And at this point, it's better to get rid of the jets than it is the props, since I have the altitude advantage. He pulls up and does a loop to the left, but in that pass I don't kill him, but I do take out his elevator control. So I kind of write him off for the time being. Notice my 262 buddy having trouble with the 51. So coming in on a pass on him, he notices me and evades. At that point, I continue with my speed and ensure the attacker goes down, which he does. I get the kill for that. 51 still had speed, so did a loop while he attacked the 262. But he also picks up this Bearcat coming in. Bearcat tunnel vision's on him, allowing me to slot in right behind him. Clear the 262's tail. At this point I see the 262 turn right, so I get a little altitude, do a loop. Come back around. This P-51 either didn't have the energy or just misjudged how fast I would turn. So I came around, knocked him clear out of the sky. At this point I'm debating going back to base, but I noticed the P-80 and Spitfire coming down on the 262. P-80 compress kills himself into the ground, leaving just the Spitfire. Spitfire does take the 262. 262 misjudged his energy. At this point I do end up chasing the Spitfire for a little bit. Knowing he's going to be doing the riverbed thing, I line up to take him at this turn, but he does a harder turn. So keeping my energy, loop up, come back down on top of him. Does another turn, loop up yet again. This time I make it enticing for him. Get pretty slow here. At this point he's out of energy, so I shift my plane a little bit to the left, making him avoid all his shots, and put a bunch of 30s into him. At that point, that's my 5th kill. And I am pretty low on fuel, so I decide it's time to go back for base. Here, Bearcat's on the other 262. Noticing that, I engage on him first. The 262 does not make things easy, since he does a loop here in very close proximity to me while I'm at low speed. Trying to help him, I do engage anyway. 262's having trouble. Bearcat tunnel vision yet again. Bunch of 30s. Fortunately, I didn't kill him and only lit him on fire, allowing him to be able to get the kill on the 262. At this point, Ziero had just died to the F-84 that is my last major threat on this enemy team. And it's just me and an A2-a C3. Speed up the video again. This A2-a does a very good job of staying with me. Help clean up these last two guys. Once again, the P-51 and the F-84 are ground pounding for points, which is fine. It's for the event. And I pop a Avenger, and it doesn't do the F-84, but it does the 51. Judging his lower speed, low altitude, and 2 of us versus him, decide just to start booming, zooming, and yo-yoing him. Never forcing myself into a hard bleed turn. These shots I thought were going to connect, but they didn't. Two-3-4 comes in for a pass, but doesn't get anything. Try another lead shot there, a miss. So at this point my energy is pretty low. His energy is still decent and enough to climb up to me, so I decide to bait him for the 2-3-4 that's coming back. And it works perfectly. 2-3-4, chews him up. At this point, there's only the F-84 left, and I was about 95% sure he was going back to base to rearm or refuel. More than likely refuel, because I've already had to do that myself. So at that point, we notice him have his air start and flying out. I decide to play this like I do against the French bombers, where I come in with speed and above, does a good little loop, and then goes into a dive, utilizing his speed over me. Disengage. That's the closest I'll ever get to him right there. So I fire a bunch of rounds, nothing connects. Noticing that the 234 is on him, I tell the 234 in chat just to stay on him for as long as he can. At this point, I'm starting to notice him climbing. Once he gets to my altitude, he makes a terrible mistake and pitches up harder. At this point, he's pretty much written off his aircraft. And he's gone. 7-kill match with 1 bait. Pretty good for an A2-a, have to admit. Hope you enjoyed the video.